Hey everybody. Um, this was I wasn't expecting to make this video this week. I have other videos I want to upload, but I think the reason why I wanted to upload this is because it does help get some. It's like cathartic in a way. Because I've just been really troubled and just having a lot of difficulty, I guess, finding hope and reason these past few days because of obviously the shooting, a murder, an assassin. I didn't really even follow Charlie that much. I did watch some of his videos. I don't have to agree with everything he says, but I do think that it was great that he could build a stage for anyone to voice their opinion and to debate it, and it was just free and open discussion. I feel like it had become to the point where a lot of people were afraid to say what they felt because we're just so bathed in a media environment that makes you feel that you have to feel a certain way, and there may be others around you who feel differently and they're just uncomfortable because there's this fear of reprisal. It's because it's just like there's such a heavy presence in the media, especially before, let's say, I don't know, it's like I feel like it's just gotten worse maybe over the last 10 years, but I feel like there's always been this kind of like you can't be one thing around a certain group of people. You can't say certain things around a certain group of people. You can't, because they just won't allow you to dissent. And I find it extremely troubling that I think when people, it's really, what it really opened my eyes to was the fact that, people have said that, oh, especially with all the violence and theft and looting and all this other crap that's going on, that America is losing its way, or people don't have a sense of identity anymore. And I think that's true. I don't think you even need to be a part of some religious group to know that's happening. I think what this assassin has shown us is what it really means to be an American, because, like I said, I wasn't an ardent follower of Charlie's. I do think that he offered a positive platform for expressing opinions, challenging opinions. We should get used to having opinions challenged. But I think he reminded us that is what it means to be an American. That's our identity. Our identity is having an opinion and not being afraid to express it, and hopefully being able to back up that opinion. I see so many people, because if you watch those videos in full, you can get a really good idea of the sense of person that he is. But the mischaracterization of his identity on certain news platforms, and I don't like that. I don't like how basically people have to spin a narrative in order to support their argument, rather than actually finding maybe actually having actual justifications for saying something that's the opposite. Like, if you have a reason for supporting a certain law or rule or whatever, try to reason that through. Don't just go like, shout this person down with name calling and, like I said, mischaracterizations, taking things out of context, not showing the full clip, and it really upset me. But what I do find heartening, though, outside of the just really, there's been some really horrible reactions I've seen from people just celebrating. It just seems so wrong, like on a human level. But as an American, like just the idea that you could celebrate the silencing of someone's voice just because you don't agree with them. And I think a lot of those people are very ignorant. Not ignorant being they don't know, right? They haven't done their research. They're just following, the head sheep, and they're not thinking about, and if they're not engaging their curiosity. So, it just, like I said, it's not my typical video. I don't really feel like I want to have my videos go in a completely different direction. I think these videos are very stupidly funny, and I found some solace in watching some stupidly funny stuff this week, but my mind continues to wander back to this idea of how do we engage in a positive dialogue, a positive debate, a positive. The argument itself is not a negative thing. You can have an argument. An argument is a disagreement or a discussion. It's just a synonym. So I urge anybody who is misinformed about who Charlie was to watch some of those videos in full. But also, if you feel uncomfortable in a conversation and you have reasons to feel that way, like maybe you're not completely informed, but you can still engage in a topic saying like, this is what I believe and this is why I believe it. It just makes you feel like a more stable person to have those thoughts come out rather than keeping them repressed or going along with the flow just because your very best friend feels a certain way. So I will upload. I didn't want to upload a fun, stupid video game case video this week. I just didn't. I didn't. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel appropriate. It just didn't. I just wasn't in the mood, and so I just hope that people can learn something from this. I am seeing worldwide positive reactions to positive in meaning like there's a feeling that there is something changing in people and a greater sense of unity, and I think that it's really interesting to see and heartening to see how much of an impact that even somebody whom you may not even be that familiar just unite the world in such a way, despite the very vocal, very minor, but it's still, I gotta say, it's still very upsetting when I see these, like I said, these mischaracterizations or people who don't have all the facts, and but you can correct them, you can engage them in conversation. Sometimes they just don't want to hear it, which is it's very sad. So, but that's what happens when I guess communication breaks down. It's just that people react in violent ways. So I hope that maybe that the dialogue continues, and we can show the world what Americans are truly meant to be.